Welcome to the Ask Dr. Deanna show. I'm Dr. Deanna Osborne, your host. Join me weekly as I cover various health-related lifestyle medicine topics that you get to request. This show is for anyone who wants to proactively improve their health position. I hope you enjoy the show. Hey, welcome back, everybody. I am super excited that you are with me today and excited to continue this series, Fasting February, everything you need to know about intermittent fasting during the month of February. So today, I wanted to talk a little bit about what is going on in your body while you're fasting so that you can better understand why this is such a powerful tool. You want to talk about, what I call, how to basically 10x, or 10 times your metabolism by incorporating intermittent fasting. So we're going to talk today about why it is that when people are using intermittent fasting, they see an increase in metabolism. And it's sort of like intermittent fasting. I always say it's kind of like adding rocket fuel, to the rocket. If you think about a rocket, and it's sitting on the ground, there's a certain amount of fuel that has to be added underneath of it, or in that rocket to basically get it to take off, to launch. And it's a tremendous amount. And once it goes, okay? But if you don't have the right amount, if you don't have the right tools, then it just, maybe you don't get your rocket off the ground. And so this is a way, metabolism. I keep saying that's kind of going to be the focus, I think, this year as more and more people are jumping on the intermittent fasting bandwagon. So what is it that's going on in your body when you're fasting, specifically as it pertains to metabolism? Well, one of the things that happens is that basically when you are fasting, when you're incorporating intermittent fasting, you actually have an increase in human growth hormone, or HGH. And those levels increase as much as 5-fold in the system when somebody is fasting. And you might be saying, well, why is that important? What does that really mean? Well, basically, when you have an increase in human growth hormone, it dramatically increases your metabolism. It leads to fat loss. It also leads to muscle gain. And we know that muscle takes significantly more, burns more calories than fat. So if you are increasing your muscle content, that's one of the reasons that we also love, resistance training, just to increase muscle mass. But basically, if you have more muscle, then even when you are sitting and reading a book, you're actually going to be burning more calories because you have a higher metabolic rate. You have a higher metabolism. So this is all about this hormone, human growth hormone, and everything that's going on there. Also, in addition to that, so the HGH levels increase as you're fasting. Just so many tremendous gains from that. We also know that exercise increases human growth hormone levels as well. As far as I know, typically children have higher human growth hormone as they are growing, and that makes sense. But as we age, this hormone will actually decline. And so some people, advocate using HGH to help from an anti-aging standpoint and so forth. But basically, one of the things that we know is that, if you can increase your HGH, the only two things that I know that will increase it are basically intermittent fasting and exercise. So we're going to jump on that bandwagon and make that happen so that we can have supercharged metabolism and just, great weight management. Other things that happen when you are fasting, because I really want you to understand what's going on in your body. Insulin sensitivity improves greatly. And as the insulin levels drop, so you've heard me talk about the fasting insulin level and the fact that when you're getting your annual wellness exam, you should ask for that to be tested. But when that is running consistently high because your pancreas is making too much of this because you're eating too many carbs, basically fasting helps to improve the insulin sensitivity. And when the insulin levels start dropping, then stored body fat becomes more accessible. Your body's going to utilize it. It's going to release it, let go of it, and burn it off. So that's a great thing. Another thing that happens that's super exciting is this cellular repair that goes on. We call this autophagy. I thought I was going to do a whole segment, a whole podcast on autophagy. And then I decided that it's maybe a little too sciencey because there are about 3 different types of autophagy. But the bottom line is that autophagy typically will start at about the 17th hour when you are fasting. So most of us do a 16-8. This is the whole reason that I like to do at least an 18-6 plan, and then sometimes maybe a 24-hour fast, maybe 2 days a week, because it's going to help increase my metabolism. It's also going to help with this autophagy, which is basically where your cells digest and remove old and dysfunctional, junk that's inside the cell, like proteins that are built up and so forth. That is one of the reasons that I believe we see a decrease in cancer rates among people who are, incorporating intermittent fasting. Also, another thing that happens in your body that is super exciting has to do with gene expression. And gene expression is basically, a change in the function of genes, which basically would help to increase longevity so you can live longer, and then protection against disease. So, genes can either be turned on or turned off. And a lot of times, with the standard American diet is flipping the switch on for so many people. That's why we see such a obesity epidemic, but also an epidemic of so many other diseases, autoimmune, and so many other things. It's because these genes have been flipped on because of the toxicity of the standard American diet and the consumption of carbs and just the whole, interplay with all of the hormones. And you end up with genes that are maybe less than fabulous genes that then express themselves. And now you've got a gene that's going crazy and running toward cancer, for example. So in addition to, the decrease in insulin, the increase in human growth hormone, fasting also will increase the release of the fat burning hormone norepinephrine. Okay. And all of this together, when you look at the HGH, decreasing the insulin, all these things I'm talking about, all of these things are going to have an dramatic improvement in your metabolic rate, your metabolism, so that you can literally burn more even when you're doing nothing. And that is just so exciting, such an exciting concept. And of course, we want people to move. We want you to get your 10,000 steps in a day, wear your watch or your, pedometer or whatever, track it, your Fitbit, and know how active you are, but get your steps in. Do some resistance. One of the programs that I love, it's just basically a series. It's on YouTube. It's free. Caroline Givern does a great job. We'll include that in the show notes today. But she just does like total body workout. You're just basically resistance. You absolutely will have a little muscle soreness afterwards, but they're short. It can be anywhere from 20 minutes to 30 minutes to 40, kind of fits your schedule. And that's a great thing to incorporate, because as you're doing a lot of the resistance type things that she does, you're actually building muscle, okay? Or the result of that will be building muscle. So that's exciting. When we look at people who are incorporating intermittent fasting, into their lifestyle, what we typically see on average from a weight loss standpoint is going to be anywhere from 3 to 8% weight loss over a 3 to 24 week period. So think about, your weight, and, just think about dropping, whether it's 15%, what is the percent, but that you need to lose. Everybody's different. Last week I talked about a patient who, maybe was in the 170, 180 range and lost 52 pounds, utilizing intermittent fasting. And, this is someone who now is just perfectly metabolically fit. If I test her insulin levels, they're going to be fantastic. I mean, just so many things are going to be in a good range because of the lifestyle that she adapted. And, it just makes such a difference overall when you look at, the effect on the hormone levels, and you look at the effect on the metabolism, the effect on muscle, the effect on cognitive, abilities, energy levels, all of that, it's just such a win. And so I just want to encourage everybody to embrace, intermittent fasting, and know that you've got an amazing number of things that are happening in your body that are healthy when you are doing this. Okay. And whether you are starting with the 12-hour fast at night, which again, I always say everybody should be doing that no matter what, or you've moved to the 14-hour fast. Okay. Or maybe you are now, you've landed at the 16-8, which is a very, very common model that people use. And then, some people, and then some people, there are a variety of ways you can fast. Some people will go from that and then they'll decide, no, I'm just going to do twice a week, I'm going to do a 24-hour fast. Even that has a significant improvement. My favorite is a daily 16-8, and then 2 days a week, either an 18-6 or a 24, because I have found that for me personally, that has been the fasting guideline that really has made the most impact for me in terms of weight loss, cognitive abilities, reduction of, inflammatory markers, all of those sorts of things. It has just continued to improve. So I hope that you will include this and make this a part of your lifestyle. One of the things that I love is that once you get it down, it's super easy to do. It's free. It's convenient. It's efficient. You're cooking less. You're having to, prep less. And so, there's just this one window, and then you can really, truly, spend some time making great food, healthy food. We always talk about foods that are, whole foods, nutrient dense and clean, just eating real food, which we know has a tremendous impact in people's overall health and longevity as well. So thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you'll plug in next week as we wrap up Fasting February and then head into our next series for March. So thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day. I hope you enjoyed that episode. For more information, visit me at deannaosborne.com. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dr. Deanna Osborne. I really want to hear from you, so message me. I love taking your messages and creating topics from them. Please rate, review, subscribe, and share my show with those who have an interest in health and wellness. Thank you for tuning in, and see you next week.